As NFL fans, there's not much more you could ask for than what we have seen in the first 3 weeks of the 2025 NFL season. There's one consistent thing, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles remain the best team and the team to beat in the NFL. They start off these power rankings at the top of the list. Number one, if you don't familiarize yourself with the Blitz with Blender brand all that often, well, welcome. I appreciate you so much. We make NFL and college football content every single day. And for this video and these power rankings, let me know down below in the comments some of your power rankings, what you agree with and what you don't agree with. So let's get into it. At number one, Philadelphia. They boast one of the best trench groups still in the NFL, an ability to adapt at halftime. They did it against the Cowboys after giving up a bunch of points, and they go out and they lay a goose egg in the second half against that Philadelphia defense. In the second half against the Rams, after giving up all of that production to LA, holding them to field goals, though, is what they did. What do you do if you give up field goals when you're getting badly outplayed? You extend the life of your team. This Philadelphia team can beat you in so many different ways, and they still have one of the best position groups easily in football. Barkley, Brown, and Devontae Smith, each of them with huge impacts on this game. Although Saquon Barkley didn't have a big day, the Rams had to respect the run because of what he did to them last year. I believe 5 touchdowns over 50 yards. The Eagles at 1, they will stay there until somebody takes it from them. Number 2, the Buffalo Bills. This team has shown that they know how to win games. Even if they're down 15 against Baltimore, even if it's tighter than they would have liked against the Miami Dolphins, they were able to pull it out, hold on to that win. They get the late interception. Josh Allen looks like a guy that is playing with a ton of confidence. And going up against maybe the worst team in football, the New Orleans Saints at home, not expecting them to move much. At number 3, I have a completely different team here. Now, I wasn't expecting them to be this high this early, but I thought once they got Devontae Adams in the offseason that this team might have something special brewing, especially with how great that young defense looked. That's right, the Los Angeles Rams are at number 3. Just because they blew it against the Eagles does not take away that this team was the only competitive squad in the playoffs against Philly last year. They had the Eagles not just on the ropes, on their back, but they just didn't knock him out. They had the 10 count. He got up after the 9 count, and they got up off the map. But the Rams, they play complementary football. The defense to the offense, getting stops, just didn't do it in the red zone, kicking way too many field goals against Philly. And what can you do? I mean, once that team got hot at the end there, you have to be able to execute. After kicking too many field goals in the first half, they then missed 2 in the second half. Really tough. But when you play that tight of a game against the best team in football, you deserve a ton of respect. They get it here, led by still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC, Matthew Stafford. This team is dangerous, and they will be throughout the season. And they get a shot at the team at number 4, the Detroit Lions. That game will be coming up later in the season. Lions were very impressive. They beat the Baltimore Ravens in a fashion that we haven't seen a whole lot of, which is shutting down Derrick Henry. The Buffalo Bills at number 2, they couldn't shut down Derrick Henry until they forced a fumble. Well, the Lions did the same thing, and except for a 28-yard touchdown bulldozing run where he's showing off the speed, that was just about it. It wasn't a lot of production from Henry. They completely limited Lamar Jackson, and the wide receiver threats were just about Mark Andrews and little to none else. Their offense used everybody that they could want to touch the football. Laporta making it happen. Amon-Ra St. Brown scores. Each of the backs, Gibbs and Montgomery, scored 2 touchdowns. This team is loaded in all facets. A different looking team than what we saw in week 1 against Green Bay. The interior of the offensive line is coming together, holding their own. The defensive line is getting pushed. They did it against a physical Baltimore front. Very impressive. I still have the Baltimore Ravens at 5, even though they are 1-2 on this season. A lot of respect goes to the Detroit Lions, to the Buffalo Bills. Have to remember, when Lamar Jackson is at quarterback, this is one of the most dangerous teams in football. He's won 2 MVPs for a reason, and I've got a lot of confidence that the defense will come together. Madubuike being out clearly did not help them Roquan Smith in the middle of the defense, always dangerous. Hamilton and Malachi Starks. This could be the best safety duo by the end of the season once these guys get going. Still young players. Hamilton may be the best in the business back there, but Starks, the kid from Georgia, he's a monster. Marlon Humphrey got beat a couple of times. He'll bounce back. That's why I've got so much faith in the Baltimore Ravens, is because they've played at this low level but still been that close against Buffalo. Against Detroit says a lot about what this team can be once they play at a higher level. Number 6, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All they do is win tight football games. And what's fun is that on this list, you've got the Chiefs playing all those good teams. The Lions, they've got the Bills, they've got the Chiefs upcoming this week, and the Bucs. They play a team that's been in 2 straight divisional rounds. They beat them on the road in the Texans, a game-winning drive for Baker. Last week, they pull it out against the Jets. It's like, okay, block kick for a touchdown, game's not over. We'll just go right down the field, targeting our rookie wide receiver, Micah, kick this field goal, and we'll head back home, take on the Philadelphia Eagles this week. Excited for that one. A lot of room for improvement and not a lot of room for them to go down against Philly. That is a matchup where they've got a lot to gain and not much to lose against the Eagles. Excited for it. Worried about their trench play. That will get better as they get healthier later on. But the dynamic offense, the defense flies around. They hit people. Tampa Bay is a quality team. I have them over the Chargers. Now, Justin Herbert does not have a playoff win, unlike Baker Mayfield does in his career, but what he does have is a great coach that has a bunch of confidence in him and an array of weapons that may not be second to any in football. Quentin Johnston's made that third-year leap. Keenan Allen's back from his hiatus from Chicago. Ladd McConkey might be the best slot wide receiver in ball. Pair that with an elite defense. This team is at number 7, and they might be very well undervalued. They need to get the run game going now. It's tough without Slater, done for the season. That looks to be the only weakness potentially with them, is if that winds up coming on to hurt them. Joe Alt bumps to left tackle and already looks like a seasoned veteran there. What point will that come to hurt them? I believe it will, but as of right now, the Chargers are playing at an elite level with elite quarterback play. At number 8, the Green Bay Packers, fresh off of a heartbreaking loss. They took a massive tumble losing to Cleveland. Jordan Love, that's the whole reason they had them so high, is we saw him play so great against the Commanders, against the Lions. There were some wide open wide receivers. Now it makes you think. It makes you think about that throw where he doesn't hit Matthew Golden in stride. The first drive against Washington, underthrows it. It's not a touchdown. Jordan Love, It's talked about. You make the film breakdowns and you see he puts a lot of air under the football. Not often does he have that fastball, and he's got open guys to throw to. Big moments in the playoffs against the 49ers, a bad interception. He does it against Cleveland, too prone to do that. End of the third quarter. I'm saying a lot of negative things. To the positives, they've got a great group of wide receivers, an offensive line that will get better once they are healthy, a run game that hasn't produced much, and still this team beat Detroit and Washington. I know I've got them ahead of the Lions, but that can change again in a hurry here. A loss to Cleveland was a big knock to them. That defense is one of the best in football. First in points allowed, third in yards allowed. Green Bay is legit this year. They've got a big one against the Cowboys on the road this week. The Kansas City Chiefs at number 9. Some room to move up. 1-2, you beat Baltimore. You'll definitely look like they can move up some spots. They're without Rashee Rice, without Xavier Worthy, and they're going to have to battle against Baltimore. You lose that, I'm sorry. You're going outside of the top 10. Doesn't matter if it's against the Chargers and losing that game, I still have to drop you. It's just what has to happen on this list, even if you're playing the Eagles and losing to them. At some point, you got to win games. That was what they did in the past. That's what they did last year, winning all of those one-score games. It looks like they don't have that immune nature that they just win all of them now. Still, they can't run the football well. They can't protect Patrick Mahomes, so that's leading to him scrambling more. He's going to get hit. Very worried about Patrick's longevity through this season if they can't protect him better and they run the football. Chiefs at 9, Commanders at number 10. This team without Jaden Daniels will sort of tread water. A dominant win last week. They did a very good job it looked very good against the Las Vegas Raiders. They were able to get a ton of pressure on Geno Smith. This defense is fully legit. The secondary looks great with the youngster, the rookie Amos, the second-year player in Sanders still. The backers, Luvu and Wagner, could be the best group of inside backers in the game currently. Once Jaden is back, the dynamic ability of this team didn't play well against the Green Bay Packers. Neither did the Lions. Can't knock him there. Jaden gets hurt in that game, but the defense still was able to hold up enough, keep that game close in the fourth quarter. I got a lot of faith in the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels at the helm. The question is, without Austin Eckler, can Bill Jacory, Krosky, Merritt be that solution in the run game, or will they have to bring Deebo Samuel back there at some point to run the football? At 11, a guy that doesn't need help running the football, Jonathan Taylor, leading the league by a lot in rushing. This team doesn't turn the football over. They take it away, led by a great defense. DeForest Buckner sets the tone in the middle. Zaire Franklin right behind him. They don't have Kenny Moore this week, which really hurts them against Los Angeles Rams. Believe that is a huge blow, losing him in that matchup. But still, the Indianapolis Colts have proven that if Daniel Jones doesn't turn the ball over, uses his legs, is able to hand the ball off, get the ball out on time, that he can play within the system and win games. A great start for the Colts. They are at 11. The 49ers at 12, but with a lot of room to move down now. Nick Bosa out. George Kittle out. No Ayuk still on the season. It doesn't look like Brock Purdy. He may be back this week. It's currently unknown. I'm making this video on a Wednesday, so I don't know his status. They are at 12, but a lot of concern for the San Francisco 49ers going forward. Still, that team is 3-0. They find a way to win games. Those are great traits that you want. At 13, the Denver Broncos. This team had a heartbreaker against the Chargers last week. I still believe that with that loss to Indianapolis, those are two very tough games against what looks like good opponents. I have them ahead of the Seattle Seahawks, who have a better record than them, as well as the Vikings. Those teams have better records than them. Denver, though, Bo Nix is going to continue to improve. He's maybe regressed a little bit in certain categories, has to keep his eyes downfield. The run game does look explosive with Dobbins and Harvey back there. Would love to see a bit more production from the second-year guy at outside Troy Franklin. If they can get Jahdae Barron developed in the secondary as a weapon opposite of Pat Surtain, this team looks dangerous, that they can win some playoff games. 14, Seattle Seahawks. They got a huge one against the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle is just balanced. They've got the playmakers in the secondary. They're fast with Woolen and Witherspoon. They come down and tackle. They'll get Nick Emmett-Worry going in the back end. He looks like he'll have a very bright future. Zabel in the interior at guard out of North Dakota State, being able to help set the tone for that run game. Kenneth Walker, a monster out of the backfield, can turn on the burners. Jaxson Smith and Jigba is starting to creep into that top 5 conversation for best wide receivers in the National Football League. Seattle doesn't really have much of a weakness. Have to see against Arizona if one potentially is exposed, but for now, they definitely look like a playoff team. 15, the Vikings. I've got them down here so low even after a dominant performance, because when J.J. McCarthy's been healthy, they've only played 1 good quarter of football. The defense has played 12 good quarters of football so far on the season. Even the opening drive against Chicago, 12 good quarters of defense overall from Minnesota. That team is great on that side of the ball, but offensively, still lots of question marks. Jordan Addison is back this week, a huge help for them. You would love for Carson Wentz to play at a high level, but you don't want there to be any sort of quarterback controversy there. What does J.J. McCarthy look like when he gets back? Only playing 2 games and then missing time is the last thing that you would want from a quarterback trying to gain that early season rhythm, so that throughout the year you can have that confidence going forward and play with your feet under you, which he hasn't done. He's been short-arming a lot of the stuffs when he had been out there on the field. Minnesota, elite wide receivers, great defense, but still a lot of questions with this team and their quarterback position. At number 16, the Houston Texans, an 0-3 team at 16. That just speaks to how good their pass rush is, their secondary, and their potential if they can get it going with C.J. Stroud offensively. They haven't done any of that heartbreaker to the Jaguars. Nico Collins fumbles the football, and Nico Collins is badly needing some help opposite of him. Who's the number 2? talk about the threat and how you can win a Super Bowl. You need two threats to throw the football to: a good run game and a good defense, and a quarterback that's good enough to distribute it. Right now, the Houston Texans don't have Tank Dell, and they badly need the number 2 wide receiver. They need a guy to come out of the pack and establish or get Dell back as soon as possible. They're down at 16, a lot of room to move up, but if they lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, they are saying goodbye to being in the top 20, and realistically making the playoffs starts to become a lot less possible in a division where the Colts are already off to that hot start and 3-0. The 17 Pittsburgh Steelers now are 2-1 on the season, led by the veteran quarterback Aaron Rodgers, a defense that gets after you. If DK Metcalf solidifies himself as that elite target for Aaron Rodgers, look out now, because they always find a way to win those close football games that look like New England had so many chances, but Mike Tomlin's team doesn't quit. They rally. They tackle you at the 2-yard line because they know it's tough to gain 2 yards on Pittsburgh. The rookie Derek Harmon coming together. We'll see if Caleb Johnson gains a little bit more respect and some confidence from the team and some trust, but for now at 17. Arizona Cardinals, another 2-1 team. Big game against Seattle, of course, on Thursday night. This team, if they can get Marvin Harrison Jr., his confidence back and playing at a high level, and Kyler and him in rhythm, this is a dangerous football team because of the weapons that they possess with him and McBride. Remember, those 2 threats. They lost James Conner for the season. That very much so hurts you. Still, defensively, they are improved. They put so much to that side of the ball. Would like to see Walter Nolan develop himself in the interior of that, become a monster. That would be the key for them. Cardinals, a good team at 18. At 19, the Falcons, fresh off of a horrendous loss. They are 1-2 now on the year, but Penix, the way he looked against Minnesota, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. Didn't play well against Atlanta. Throwing some footballs with anticipation will lead to bad throws or a pick six like he had there. He anticipates the window. He checks it down, just didn't look at the coverage. They just have so many weapons, and that edge group of Pierce and Leonard Floyd and Jalen Walker looks like them together, that this will be a very dangerous team. Once Penix gets the rhythm going, it's just a tough conference now. How will this team be able to respond the rest of the season? They need Penix to play at a higher level. At 20, the Jaguars, their quarterback plays as much up and down football as anybody in the league. He has great plays, and then he throws bad interceptions like he did this past week. I mean, we need to see the consistent play out of Trevor Lawrence. We haven't really seen it in the NFL since that playoff year, or since Clemson, really. Up and down the rush attack with Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker can rival just about anybody's with those athletes up front. This is a dangerous football team. If Trevor Lawrence can pick up that confidence, they've got a shot in the AFC South, of course. It comes down to the weapons, though. Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas, can they establish themselves as a good duo, or will Thomas continue to struggle? Got them right now at 20. The Chicago Bears, a lot of negativity surrounding that program and organization through 2 weeks. A major bounce back against the Cowboys in week 2. Have to keep the needle trending in the right direction, because we saw Caleb look okay against Minnesota, look better against Detroit, although they got blown out. That's the defense's problem. Week 3, career performance. Week 4, can he follow it up? Can the defense get pressure on Geno Smith? They have been atrocious against the run so far this season. One of the worst in football right now. Can they get some positive momentum? Get to 2-2. Bye week, get some guys back like Kyler Gordon and TJ Edwards, and then have a big matchup in week 6 against the Washington Commanders and the start of what could be a new season. Flip the page, start a new chapter. I've got a lot of faith in Caleb Williams, that this quarterback is special. That 65-yard bomb to Luther Burden shows you just the amount of talent they have. That's a rookie. Colston Loveland, the rookie, haven't really tapped into their potential. And Caleb, the consistency struggles are the main concern currently. But you have to say the talent and the performance is there. Believe he's thrown 25 touchdowns to just 2 picks in his last 17 games. Think about that for a moment. The Bengals at 22, this team's got a lot more room to move down. Unfortunately, it looks like that's the direction that they will be headed the rest of the year. You lose one of the best quarterbacks in football it just hurts that bad. Higgins and Jamar Chase, it's like these guys are just these luxury supercars that are stuck on an island full of sand. There's nowhere for you to drive them, no way to get them onto the pavement and a straightaway to use all that speed. The defense does look a little bit more improved, still a bit of concerns in the secondary. Chase Brown, the running back, he's a good player, but the Bengals overall, you don't have your quarterback. Looks like a team that could drop in a hurry from 2-0 to something like 4-6, and they really got to be around 500 if they want a shot when Burrow is back. At 23, the Cowboys, look, very good offense, terrible defense. They don't have a pass rush anymore. They've got a good ability to run the football. It hurts that you lose, I think, Tyler Booker for maybe a quarter of your games. He might be out 3 to 4 weeks with the injury. CeeDee Lamb looks like he could miss 2 weeks or more. It's a team that has a decent ceiling, nowhere near the ceiling they had with Micah Parsons. They can get that back with the future capital of their picks, but this Cowboys team looks a lot like a 7-10 written all over them. At 24, Las Vegas Raiders. This is a game they got to win against the Chicago Bears. You drop to 1-3 with the Chiefs, with the Broncos, with the Chargers 3-0. I mean, you already lost to LA. It's a spot where you just can't have that happen. Drop 2 games below 500. Chicago team, you got to get pressure in Caleb Williams' face after you stop the run and play coverage. I believe it's pressure. If you're going to play man-to-man, take your chances against those wide receivers, but get pressure on his Caleb's off his spot. We have seen him make the mistakes, but the Raiders, Max Crosby's one of the best edge players in the game. They have weapons now. Ashton Genty's yet to break one. You're a little bit concerned that hasn't happened yet, but still there's optimism for the Vegas Raiders. Gotta win on Sunday. 25, the Cleveland Browns. One of the best defenses in football, one of the worst offenses in the league. What can you say about Joe Flacco? This team is primed to go get a quarterback at the beginning of next year's draft. They will have the 2 first-round picks. This team will be great on defense as long as Myles Garrett is there. Carson Schwarzenegger, interior, the middle linebacker, he's played at a really nice level. This Cleveland Browns team, they don't look like they have the chance to really be a good offense, but I've got them at 25. 26, the Patriots, very disappointed in this team. I had as a playoff team this year, going 9-8. Drake May's been sacked 12 times through 3 games. His eyes are coming down. He doesn't progress into his reads. Beyond his first read, if it's not there, he holds on to the ball. His eyes come down, and it leads to turnovers and sacks. Patriots at 26. That team's getting Gonzalez back in the secondary. I have to see how that plays out for them. The Jets at 27. Fields hurt. Fields not hurt. Where's this team going? 0-3. They've got the Dolphins this week, but I've seen them my entire life. They just never seem to have the right horses. That they've got the capital to get the right horses in the building. They decided to go Fashanu instead of Brock Bowers. Just we'll take that as an example. Fashanu could turn into a great left tackle, but Brock Bowers and his ability, it already looks like the Jets could use another weapon. Jets at 27, Panthers at 28. Bryce Young playing with a bit more confidence. Still a number of question marks on that offense. This team, not a lot of room for them. Defensively, they do look better, not the worst in football. 29, the New York Giants. They go with Jaxson Dart. Not a great sign to start off 0-3. The passing attack was good against Dallas, not so much else the rest of the season against Washington or against the Kansas City Chiefs. 30, the Miami Dolphins. This team looks a little sick. You feel bad for Mike McDaniel where it was a few years ago. Tua just does not look like the same guy he was. All that talent offensively, not much to do with it. 31, the Tennessee Titans with Ward just don't have a roster that can compete right now. That's the same with the New Orleans Saints at 32. Similar themes really from 27 down to 32. Teams that just seemingly they have a few good players, but a far less amount than other squads around the league that are competing for playoff appearances and getting close to being at that point. A potential team coming out of there. It's almost impossible to think with the way that those guys have started. So that is the bottom 6 on the group. I appreciate you so much. Make sure to subscribe for more content in the future. If you have not already, please subscribe for more football videos. I make NFL, college content every single day. Fired up. Football is still back. We can keep saying that until October. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this list and what you would change, what you agree with. I appreciate you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Best player in college football.
That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blunder, hi everybody, I'm Josh Blunder.
To the 40, 35, 30, Espinosa to the 20.